Welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars, dear friends. I hope you're feeling bright, calm, and ready to sink into a story that still echoes in our hearts. Today, we're revisiting a moment that stirred a wave of powerful memories, a reunion wrapped in tenderness and longing, an event affectionately known as Love Lives On. And yes, you guessed it. We're diving into the emotional encounter that brought Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagai's back into the same frame, sending a tremor of excitement through their admirers around the world. Settle in, because this one glows with warmth. Before we begin, a quick note: if you haven't yet subscribed to Whispers of Turkish Stars, go ahead and tap that red button and ring the bell so you never miss the stories we craft for you with so much care. Your support is what keeps us here, day after day, sharing the moments that move us all. From the title alone, you felt the pulse of what's coming. Love doesn't simply disappear, it transforms and endures. So many of us were swept into the tenderness that bloomed on screen between Kemal and Nyen, two names that became talismans for devotion, sacrifice, and the courage to hope. Hours upon hours, we watched, cried, laughed, and believed alongside them. That bond wasn't just entertainment. It became a shared experience. Time has passed since the closing of that unforgettable chapter, and yet destiny, with its own curious timing, has allowed us to see Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagai's reunited in a different setting, professional, yes, but undeniably charged with the same electricity that once made their partnership feel inevitable. This reunion wasn't merely another industry headline. It felt like a gentle hand on the shoulder reminding us of what art can do. How a performance can reach beyond the set, beyond the screen, into people's lives. Long before the first official hints arrived, whispers threaded their way through timelines and fan spaces. The hope was cautious at first. But when the confirmation finally landed, you could feel the air change. Imagine the hearts of those who followed every beat of Millennium's journey, from those difficult first steps to the stormy valleys of doubt, and finally to the summit where a tried and tested love stood resilient. Seeing the real people behind those feelings meet again, well, it was like opening a keepsake box and finding the scent still there. Naturally, the questions came rushing in: how would they react when their paths crossed again? Would a single glance carry the weight of all they once portrayed? Would they trade memories about scenes that pushed them to their limits, or laugh about the secrets behind the magic that turned Karasta into an international touchstone? The curiosity wasn't idle. It came from a place of affection built over years of devotion. To grasp why this encounter matters, it helps to revisit the tale that first bound so many people together. Dear, a principled engineer with a spine of steel and a heart that learned tenderness the hard way, met an Ancessin, a gifted artist whose past and family burdens stood like walls around her spirit. Their connection struck fast and deep, but cruel twists tore them apart before it could bloom. Then fate, the constant author of impossible comebacks, stepped in, demanding that their love confront its fiercest battles. The silences between them, the looks that carried entire monologues, the ache, the hope, the stubborn passion, these touched audiences from one country to the next. They became a symbol of devotion that outlived the credits. And now, here we are, watching the quiet unveiling of when, where, and how this meaningful reunion happened. Piece by piece, details slipped into view. Though this isn't a series or a film where they return as the same characters, it places them side by side in a professional capacity once more, and for so many of us, that alone is cause for celebration. Photos and clips began dotting our feeds. Fans zoomed into frames, read every smile, measured each gesture, looking for the thread that always tied them together. If you ask those who were there, or those who watched closely, they'll tell you. Something familiar glowed in the air, as if the years folded briefly and set them back in a space where understanding needed no words. Perhaps the most captivating aspect of reunions like this is seeing how two lives shaped by the same fire evolve when the cameras stop rolling. Over time, Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagai's continued to grow, to choose scripts that challenged them, to show up for fans who never forgot. They respected each other's paths, and that respect has a way of softening the world. The rawness they traversed together while telling such an intense tale could only have forged a rare camaraderie, a steady kind of trust that doesn't vanish. Moments like these invite us to reflect on the reach of Karasta. It wasn't just a melodrama, and everyone who watched knows that instinctively. It stepped across borders, redefined expectations, and became a reference point whenever conversations turned to the strength of Turkish storytelling abroad. The awards, the ratings, the global chatter, those were bright lights. But brighter still were the messages from viewers who saw their own struggles mirrored, who recognized a piece of their lives in the push and pull of that love. Seeing Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis together again feels like honoring that legacy without needing to recreate it beat for beat. So what, precisely, did Love Lives On become? That's part of the charm. The hints all pointed toward a project tethered to goodwill and memory, something that let them share a stage, speak from the heart, and give back. Think a charity gala that doubles as a tribute. Think a television special with reflections, laughter, and a few gentle confessions about favorite scenes and hardest days. Or maybe a behind-the-scenes feature whose promise hasn't fully unfolded yet. The important part is simpler than any label: their paths crossed in the light, not by accident but by intention, and the energy between them felt unmistakably generous. In the captured moments we've seen, their smiles aren't scripted. They move with the ease of people who know what the other needs without asking. There's a brightness in their eyes that speaks to gratitude for the work, for the journey, for the chance to stand together again and feel the wave of affection that still meets them wherever they go. You can hear it in how people talk about them. For so many of you who've been with us, they occupy a place that feels personal, almost protective. You watched their characters face losses and triumphs and found, in those arcs, a reflection of your own hopes and fears. That's the power of stories, especially stories performed with the kind of sincerity that Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis brought every day. When the first images landed, your messages began to pour in. Some of you wrote that your hands shook, others said you needed a moment alone just to breathe it all in. You remembered favorite monologues, a stormy confrontation on a rain-soaked night, a quiet confession whispered over a trembling cup of tea. You asked, do they feel it too, the weight of what we felt because of them? Those thoughts are shared across continents, across languages, because the themes were universal: love reinventing itself under pressure, sacrifice that leaves a scar and a blessing, choosing to believe again even when belief feels foolish. There's something deeply affirming in witnessing how their connection translates into their present. The affection you sense doesn't need to mimic old scenes. It's enough that the foundation endures, that they can stand side by side and allow the moment to be what it wants to be. That, in itself, is a message about grace. It tells us that good experiences don't have to vanish when a chapter closes, they can be carried forward in kinder forms. And of course, there's the shared curiosity about what comes next. Will they sign on to a limited feature that nods toward familiar beats without retracing them? Will there be a television appearance where they sift through favorite memories while hinting at something new? Or perhaps they'll keep this as a standalone act of gratitude, a promise that the door to possibility remains open without needing to be rushed through. Whatever shape the future takes, the reunion already counts as a gift. An assurance that we weren't imagining the spark we saw all those years ago. To wrap what we've explored today into a soft ribbon, we've walked through the heartfelt reunion of Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis, framed by Love Lives On. We've called back the enchantment they brought to life as Kemal and Nyen, traced the cultural footprint of Karasta, and celebrated a new professional meeting that reminded us why these two command such loyalty. We recognized how their bond, forged in demanding scenes and countless hours of work, transformed into a lasting respect. We listened to your feelings, the tears, the smiles, the stunned silence, and we honored them. This was never just about a show. It was about the way a story can choose you and change you. Now, I want to hear from you. When you saw those first photos and clips, what stirred? Did a line of dialogue play in your head? Did a particular embrace or look flash back in full color? Tell us in the comments. This space lives because of you. And yes, I'm curious, what did you appreciate most about the way this tribute unfolded, the piece we still call Love Lives On? What would you like to see if their paths align again? An intimate special, a reflective interview, or the kind of project that tests them in uncharted territory? If today's video reached you, let us know with a like. It's the simplest way to tell us to keep going. Share this with anyone who treasures powerful performances, and with those who keep Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis in their thoughts. Thank you for spending this time with Whispers of Turkish Stars. It's a privilege to carry these stories to you. Don't forget to subscribe so we can meet again for more reunions, more reflections, and the small miracles that happen when talent meets heart. Until we meet again, take good care, and know that some sparks, like the one we witnessed, have a way of lingering long after the lights dim.